Hi, everybody. I'm Scott,
And I'm Luke.
And I'm Jonathan.
and this is the No Way to Hollywood podcast. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. This is the No Way to Hollywood podcast.
Thanks for No Way to Hollywood podcast joining us.
Said 3 different ways because that makes it better.
So much better.
We're so clever.
Okay, guys. Well, tonight we're gonna get back into it. I want to start out by thanking one of our friends who actually watched the last podcast on writing the new James Bond movie,
That's what
and then decided to give us a bunch of suggestions.
Yeah, thank you, viewer.
No, that was cool. I'm glad.
No, I like that it inspired some creativity and some like, hey, I want to go further with this. So that's cool. And the more content that we create that actually inspires, that inspires us.
And just to give you a brief recap, other viewers who may not know, this friend of ours watched and the Bond episode. This is part 2, right? So watched the first part and was inspired, couldn't go to sleep, and was inspired to use it as a starting place to come up with their own kind of continuation of that, starting with that premise and going forward and coming with a lot of different ideas, and sent it to us. And we have refused to watch it because we're trying to go through it ourselves. So we're trying to get it done so that we can then listen to her version of the story, and that way we don't be influenced, and we can then compare and contrast where we went to. But yeah, it's cool.
And if hers is way better, go listen
We
to her
if hers is way better, we will find a way to get that story to you.
Find a way. So, shout out to our friend Lana.
Shout out.
Lana.
We are just on fire tonight.
Flames.
Fuego.
Well, who wants to recap where we're at with our James Bond movie?
Idris Elba is James Bond. He is stopping.
I thought we were going to do a pause, but Zendaya is his sister.
I mean that is a thing. He's back in his London apartment after getting a really bad pandemic level disease that is so fast acting that it kills people before they get to the next destination, which keeps it contained to the spaces that it's in. But it's being developed by an evil something or other,
Which we will discuss tonight.
There's a lab that is in like a South American jungle on the beach, and it's
Beach
a super
jungle.
cool building, and that is where he contracted
Glass.
it, trying to stop one of the bad guys from doing it, who recognized him as an imposter and actually used the disease on him, but then ended up saving him.
No, not the bad guy. He's like we said, his buddy or somebody, like some other operative or his girlfriend or whatever is going to be there, and they make the wrong choice to use the one thing of antidote they had access to save him, rather than using that antidote to make more, so that if anything went out like it is now, they could just snip it in the bud and be done with it.
But the bad guys don't have this dialed in yet, because it's so fast acting right now as a disease that it kills people before it can kind of transcend borders.
It kills them before it spreads.
Yep. And so there's just like so you get like planefuls of people who land dead, but like it hasn't moved beyond that yet.
So either the bad guys have not figured it out yet because they can't make a pandemic happen, or they have figured it out and they're using it as a weapon, or something else. We don't really know.
Right. But the other thing is that they are hunting 00 agents. And Bond is the last one.
He is
or
now
second
the
to last.
one.
We're not. I mean,
That's true.
There might be like one guy he can go after. That
so
way
we'll
there's
title
something
this
to go
one
do.
the second to last 00.
The quado.
The penultimate.
Quattro zero. We are the best at this job.
Take those zeros and put them on the end of our paychecks for this.
Oh, I thought they were going in the front.
Decimal point 0.00007. All right. Yeah, that's a little bit of what we're doing. Yeah, Zendaya's his sister. She was in the London pad with him. We were playing the scene like you didn't know, so you thought maybe she would be all like sexy time with him, and then it was like,
Nope.
She's his sister, and you're like,
Which
wait,
seems very anti-Bond, but
very Star Wars.
Oh man. Oh no. Very Game of Thrones. Oh no. Oh no.
No, not that far.
Okay. All right. Now that we've done a terrible recap,
I felt that was pretty awesome.
it was decent. It was decent. It was good.
So Bond is recovering in his apartment with his sister taking care of him.
Okay, so the other thing is we've had like a lot of time to think about this, and I just want you to know that none of us have thought about this at all.
Because that would totally destroy the whole point of what we're doing.
Except for Jonathan, apparently.
I thought about it for like an hour while we ate dinner tonight. I thought a little bit about a couple things, so I have some ideas. Cheater, you had the same hour?
Yeah, and I chose not to use it because I have principles.
All right, Jonathan. Now it's time for your shock and awe campaign. Tell us what's happening, and then we'll tell you no.
Okay, cool. This sounds like a foregone conclusion. So a couple ideas that came to mind. I think that we need to have some, so we're going to try and figure out the villains, right? I may have some ideas about the villains.
Okay.
One, you got to have at least one or two goon villains who are like special skills or really weird looking, or they do something really bizarre and disturbing. And
Odd
kills
Job and
people.
Jaws, for example.
Yes. I kind of want to bring that element of Bond back, a little bit more larger than life ridiculous, okay? And the thoughts that came to my mind was I had this pair. There's two guys.
Okay, and one
Or
of
they
them,
could be women. I don't really care.
one of them is like a parkour person.
No.
Who? Okay.
You're fired. Parkour is so 5 minutes ago, okay?
Well, I
And
didn't
5
even
minutes away
know.
from now
I
when
didn't-
someone brings parkour back.
I didn't know it was 5 minutes ago.
You know what parkour is?
Well, would you tell us about your bad guys?
So the two I came up with, and I think the end battle will have both of them versus Bond at the same time. But I think he'll interact with them at different times throughout, one-on-one for a while. I think the first one is really simple, and it doesn't necessarily have to be exactly this, but it's really simple. I just think it's like a guy with an axe. Like a guy who's like way too happy to use an axe to kill people. Like
Jason Statham.
he's just an axe murderer, dude. He's just like I almost want to give him a little too much of a lumberjack vibe. Like I almost want to go there. Like not too cool. Like it's an American who thinks he's a lumberjack and likes to kill people with an axe, and he's big and strong and strangely nimble.
So he thinks that or is he actually like earlier in his life part of like a lumber camp?
I don't know. Whichever way we want to go with him, because we can do whatever. It just seemed appropriate. I'm not super sold on that one. It's just one that came to mind. But here's the one I am kind of super sold on. All right.
Okay.
Grenade dude. I want a guy who's got way too many grenades, and he like his whole thing. He's just chucking all sorts of different kinds of grenades with incredible amounts of force. And can you just see Bond? Like I was thinking about, the axe. Like why doesn't Bond just shoot the guy with the axe? Well, the answer is because he loses his weapon or whatever, right? But an entire goon based around an axe. The problem is it's a melee weapon, right? Like Bond shoots people. He can he's got gadgets. What's that going to do? What about a guy who throws grenades all too well, like really far away with real precision, really fast? He can be in close quarters and still get him around corners and stuff. Because grenades, if
He
you
was
don't
a
know,
former high school quarterback that blew out his knee his senior year and never played in college.
and now runs around with grenades. I mean,
throws grenades better than he threw footballs.
I don't need him to have a backstory. I need him to have grenades and to throw lots of different kinds. And for Bond to be like having
Okay.
his gun and still having issues because explosions are just it could
But
be
these-
explosions,
okay.
fire, it could be ice. We could do whatever we want.
These two guys seem more like the two hitmen for the main villain, rather than the main villains themselves.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
no. I have an idea for the main villain, by the way. But like these
Yeah,
are not.
These are
not,
just the goons.
These
So
just-
these are the goons
these
that
are some
Bond is
enforcers.
fighting.
These are some dudes that Bond has to get through at some point. And if we do both of them, then he's gonna kill them with each other's stuff.
Ooh.
That's what I want to have happen. I want him to start using the
So
grenades on
the
the axe guy and the
grenade
axe on
guy-
the
Yeah.
grenade guy.
Well, see, thankfully, Bond brought an axe dude to a grenade fight.
I brought my axe dude, and I'm gonna kill him.
I do kind of want to see the scene where he kills both of them.
That's the
using each other's
thing, like-
stuff, right?
Like, you can have some square offs one-on-one. Not, the audience wouldn't know that's going to end with both of them in the same, like they're all in the same corridor or room or whatever, fighting each other. And Bond starts like catching grenades and throwing them back, or starts maneuvering them against. Because one guy's going to be really close and one guy's going to be farther away, and the whole thing is their advantages in those places, but together, so they're really lethal. But if Bond can find a way to be like, I'm going to put a grenade right next to you, and then I'm going to get that axe and get close to you, then you've got a situation where in a matter of maybe even a few seconds, he could just it'd be a big fight, and at the end, just a few seconds, it's done. They're both gone.
Okay, well, I really like the idea of then Bond like getting his foot over like the flap on the hand grenade. So he's got the hand grenade pinned down, ready for when the flannel guy comes, and then he's got to like throw him on top of it, right? So it like goes off, and then he has to have some kind of quip about flannel.
Okay, if you want to talk about quips, let me go on to my main villain. All right.
Oh, okay, main villain.
Main villain. What if we took this whole thing and turned it on its head, and basically, because we don't know who our M is this round, we don't know if it's a man or woman, we don't know anything about it. What if we just kept that going through the movie? Like, what if M was out of town, right? Like, it's some interim M for the moment because Bond and all the things are getting crazy.
So it's like an N.
You guys.
We're on it.
You guys. Look at these guys. Bond can make the quip.
He would.
He would. And
Anyway,
anyway,
on vacation today. Oh, so Ensign. So
Ensign, eh? Stands for newbie, nerd.
No.
No. And
Nihilist.
no.
All right. So, and we introduce the villain to our audience, right? Like Bond hasn't seen them yet, but we introduce our villain, and like I want this guy to be like all too weirdly like into taking care of himself, and like I want him to be a chef. I want to have like a lot, like he's really interested in food. I want him to be like taking baths in like hot springs and or like doing like Epsom salts and something about like he's kind of like he got an interest in
Do we show
geological.
him, like, in like a hot springs outside away from the thing when Bond shows up the first time?
I mean, maybe I think that he likes to cook and he's really good at it and he loves it. I think he's also got this sort of hot springs, geological salts and stuff to like better your body kind of mentality.
I like it because it's got like the thermo, like the like earth stuff, but like so like volcanic, but
Right.
not.
But not, right? Because like you need that volcanic layer, but it's just gonna be a hot spring. So it's this kind of guy, and you start realizing, you're squaring off, you're getting a little bit of his plan, you're getting Bond, you're trying to figure out when Bond's gonna get closer and closer. And this dude, when Bond finds him, we find out it's M.
M?
It's M.
N.
No.
It's M.
M as in major plot twist.
LMNO meaning no. Okay,
No,
got it.
And N's the other guy who's going to be our M for the next movie.
Right. Okay. Right. Makes sense.
Interim M is going to be the real M.
Right. Eventually, but not
current
yet.
current M has been
Is the bad
So-
guy.
because the
What?
best things that happen in Bond movies with villains, I think, is one, it's economic. It's like they want money or something like that. Or two, it's personal. It's like they're out to prove something or get back at like MI6 or Bond or somebody.
That would
Why
make
not?
sense.
Why not take the whole head of MI6, right, and that whole division of double O's in particular? Be like, he's done with this system. He wants to make his own system or do something else. He has something economic to gain, and he's going to like he's got it out for the double O's. Like he's sick of all the double O's and all their bull crap. And I don't. We could develop that a lot further, but there's something about the double O's he hates, and 007 in particular. So he's hunting them, but maybe he's also not hunting them. What if he's also turning some of them, right? So some of these guys aren't dying. We're just thinking that
We
they're
just
getting
think that they're dead.
they're getting killed, and they're being turned to go against Bond.
Okay, so what is it though? Like,
So
is
are
it?
our goons former double O's?
I'm wondering. I mean, they can't be American. None of them can be American. So we can't do lumberjack American. We can do lumberjack British.
What happens if lumberjack American all of a sudden turns out to be British?
He's just faking an accent the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's the typical problem where like British actors have to get the American accent for their film, but this
It's all
one
meta
it's-
commentary.
Okay, but what is it? What is it that drives M to this moment? Like, is this the thing of like, you give them 25 years, you do all this stuff, and they give you a pat on the back and a gold watch,
Right,
Like
but
like-
we can't go. I don't want to go quite there.
Right, we don't wanna go speed.
because that's
Right.
Mission Impossible, the very first one.
Well, there's that, but then there's also speed, which
There's
is
also
the similar
speed.
thing. Right, it's the same thing, right?
It's literally
like,
the same line, isn't it?
Right, it is.
No, screw those guys. We're not doing that again.
We're doing it better.
We're not doing it again.
This
No
time-
gold watches. Something else. Silver watch. No, silver watch, guys.
Silver watches. Okay. Silver bell. You get a silver bell.
Silver bell.
20 years. 20 years and a silver bell. That's all they gave me.
That's all they gave me.
So now I'm going to use my extensive funds to go to my hot springs secret base and turn double O's and have a pandemic that's not a
So do we ever get to the point where pandemic is like being released?
I don't think it's about a pandemic. I think everyone's worried about a pandemic because everyone's worried about pandemics. But I think that they got the disease exactly where they wanted it to be, and they can use it on for various reasons.
So it's more of a like, I want to
Surgical
assassinate
strike.
this person.
Yep. I'm taking this particular platoon. I'm taking out this person. I'm taking out
So
these
they're-
leaders. I'm taking out this. Yeah.
So is there surprise that Bond is still alive when he shows up later again?
I feel like like if we're gonna go with M, there's a certain level where even if the dude's on vacation, presumably if they don't know that he's the bad guy, he should get all the same information that they have. So he should know that Bond's alive.
Yes, and
Okay.
yes, because that gives it perfect thing of like,
And-
I knew you'd show up.
And why does the guy at the beginning know Bond? Because he's working for M. And everything goes back to M. Like if M's driving this whole thing, you've got a really serious problem. If you're Bond or MI6, you're in a really bad spot, particularly because you don't know. You have no idea. And so how do you, they're assassinating double O's. Well, yeah, some of them, because the ones who won't turn. But a couple of them will turn.
Okay, so but again, what's the okay? So for
What's
this
the
to
big
work,
plan? Yeah.
for this to work, I think that M has to believe that he is actually taking MI6 in the right direction.
Yeah, I do think
Right.
it's
And-
a
and-
holy
and-
war. Like I'm doing this for the right reasons,
Yeah,
kind
right.
of thing.
Like it has to be MI6 the way that it's been, especially with this vigilante, playboy, this thing that we've been doing for 70 years now, right? Like clearly this is not the way of the world. This is actually like bad Bond. Like you're sleeping with girls and creating problems left and right. Like this is not good.
Can he have a diatribe where he tells Bond how bad he actually is?
I mean, he's a villain, so sure.
Yeah, he can have a monologue.
I like this plan.
Yeah. Okay. So it has to be that he's actually reforming MI6 for the new generation.
But he's
like
doing
that's
it.
his vision.
But I feel like he's doing it more for like world domination almost, rather than for like England itself.
I mean,
Well, because we're now in a global economy, Scott.
Right. He is trying to become the Antichrist in a certain sense.
he's trying.
He's trying.
M is trying to become
MI666.
Oh, that's the title. There it is.
There it is.
MI 666. You heard it here first. Please fund our film that will never ever get made. Oh, we could do an M at the top, I 666, and it's like an upside down cross.
Boom.
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 And M's at the top
But-
because
but-
he's a villain, and he thinks he's on top.
But if we do it where it's slightly bent, then it can also be the peace symbol, like the broken cross thing, but the peace symbol. And so it's like he's trying to bring about.
And if we rearranged it again, it could be a 7.
And we are talking way too much about a stinking symbol.
I mean, except that this is like the picture of the film. What is
Okay.
happening right
All
now?
right. MI 666
It's so good.
is so dead.
Okay.
We're killing it. It's gone. No more Antichrist comments from you. M is not trying to become the.
Then don't explain it to me that way.
No, he's not. He's not. And I think this is kind of the point, right? Like, I don't think the Antichrist is like, I'm trying to become the Antichrist. Right? Like the whole point here is that M has to firmly believe that he is taking MI6 in the right new direction.
See,
and to do that, you have to take out you have to drain the swamp. You have to get rid of Bond and others like him.
Is it about Is it about taking MI6 the right direction? Is it about getting away from MI6 and destroying it because it's a bad influence in the world? Is it about creating your?
yes.
Is it your
I mean,
own
if he's gonna
organization?
have
you want?
his
Does he want world
monologue-
domination?
No,
Bond.
he doesn't need his own organization because
Right.
he's already M. So no, he doesn't need his own. He needs to take what he has that is so problematic and reforge it in a new way. But that requires taking out the trash, which includes Bond, who happens to be one of the most difficult pieces of mold to get rid of.
He's got to be. I mean, if he's going to be killing people, is he just doing this to wipe out any group of people he thinks shouldn't exist?
But it's not okay. But it can't be about. Okay, I think for this to work in a modern context, it can't be about a group of people, right? It's not like
Groups?
Hitler, right? It's not like I dislike Jews, right? He can't do that because that's like bad, right? So instead, it's about these are toxic people, or these are hateful people, or these.
That's
are,
what I meant.
right?
Yeah, because it's ultimately becomes the same thing at some point. If
Right,
you're going to
it
start
does.
killing people and
Right, but it's not because of a racial trait or a
sure,
it's because it's a
literally
belief.
just I don't like you.
It's an it's an ideology. And he doesn't like that ideology, and that person is equated with that ideology, and so therefore
so the whole thing is fundamentally
cancel culture. Yes.
well, essentially, like, and I'm happy to make that the villain. But you're essentially saying, like, the way he's taking it is he's fine. He's done playing in the system.
Mm-hmm.
He's tired of politics. He's tired of nations. He's tired of all this stuff. He's decided that it's not about him being in charge, but since he has some sway, what he wants to do is basically wipe out everything he thinks he can that's of this ideology he doesn't agree with, or the things getting in the way. He just wants to destroy all of those things and then see what happens.
Right, because he's trying to get to a more peaceful world, and this misogynistic jerk who just wastes a ton of money on fast cars and loose women is like he is a symbol of the old way that is so problematic.
Well, the problem is that Bond is a symbol of some really bad things.
I know,
which would mean he has a point.
right? Which
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah,
like
that's
you,
typically
That
good.
makes the villain very real.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Except there's got to be a reason that he should lose then too, right? Which, I mean, obviously, he's murdering people, but
he's murdering the right kind of people because they're the wrong kind of
why?
people.
Okay, let me rephrase this. Why is this? And I mean, M in position's a great foil for Bond, but why is M in this version of this this character? Why is this character a good character ideological foil for Bond?
Okay, spitballing here. He is someone who used to be on the field, used to be a field agent, used to be a 00, realized what a horrible kind of world that is, like the 00 world, and how it goes about, and was able to be promoted into the position of the leadership because he has the experience on that side, but also has the perspective now of like, this isn't the way that it should be. And now has kind of taken that even further and has gotten backing from, whoever he needs backing from to say, no, I'm gonna reform this. It's gonna be better. We're gonna do it that way.
Scott, you've been quiet for a while, except for the Antichrist stuff. You got any thoughts, any ideas? Could be contrary, could be the same. Like, you got anything that what do you think?
I mean, I certainly like where Luke's taking it, but I do want to tell you no, just for the sake of telling you no. No, Jonathan.
I can't
Okay.
even sigh anymore, guys.
No, I mean, I kind of like where it's headed at this point. I'm just curious what that final, like, what's going to happen to our evil M?
Well, see, because what I like about this is that it's not quite like 006 via 007. It's not quite that. It's actually like, I'm beyond you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm way beyond you. And looking back at you, you are so transparent to me. And it's awful where you are. But I no longer have like I have some of the same training and stuff, but I don't have the physique or anything anymore, so I've had to outsmart you, which has led to this moment here where you didn't know that I had iocane powder, or like whatever it is that does this pandemic thingy, right?
All right. I want to make another decision. I do not want to be retconned in the audience's mind that the guy at the beginning made the choice to say Bond because he's somehow a part of M's thing. I think that M wanted Bond dead.
Yes.
I think M was thinking Bond is not turnable. Mm-hmm. He's too set in this old way. I don't want to deal with him. He should be dead. And he was foiled by this other agent, this other person who's not a 00 or whatever,
But that
saving
other
Bond's
agent
life.
dies because that's what was intended.
Well, that's the thing. Do they die there? Do we hold on to them and let them be a character that Bond keeps interacting with a little bit here and there?
No,
Because you get the pissed off Bond relationship with them, and then you kill them later.
no,
They kill them.
I think in retrospect, like the goons were basically following orders and basically infected both Bond and this other guy. Somehow this other guy got a hold of the thing and realized that Bond was the best person to take this bad guy down. Right?
Sure.
Well, if it's a choice between the two of us, you're Bond. You go.
Right, except that I thought the choice that Bond understood was it's not about whether it's you or me who lives. It's about whether it's I die and everyone else gets that chance to live because we have the antidote, we can make more of it, or you save my life and now there's going to be this disease out there and we have no antidote for it. I thought that was the choice, where it was like really, truly, in Bond's mind, an incredibly stupid choice because it's the one versus the many. And this guy made the choice of the one, and not only the one, but the one of Bond. And I don't think Bond is arrogant, and he has this sense of like, I'm the best and I'm the shiznit, but like he's not. He also has this other sense of an incredible amount, like, depends on which version of Bond, right? But he can be, I'm all that and I'm just going to be a playboy and love it. But there's also this other side, especially with the Daniel Craig stuff, of the I am really awful and like I'm not worth it, and I'm just doing things to try to I'm doing things that are crazy because I'm almost ready to die. I don't need to keep going.
Yeah, I think Bond definitely has, and this Bond in particular definitely has this. I'm willing to sacrifice my life. That's why I'm out here every day doing crazy things like jumping off of cliffs to hope to get into a plane. And if I don't, it's fine. I don't have a death wish, but I also have absolutely no attachment to my life. I am here to do my duty, to do my job. That's what I do.
And that's where I thought that was what the conflict was then for him out of that. At the same time, maybe there's a way to combine the two, because I think it is, I'm fine with the guy dying in the beginning. I was just floating I'm floating the idea that he could be around and be killed later as but that is also a little cliche at this point of holding that character around just to kill him later for, Bond to be pissed about something.
I think he's got to die pretty early.
And we keep saying I am a
Or she.
big fan of the girl dies, and that's a good, strong motivator.
Yeah, but I'm tired of that for Bond.
Okay, fine.
That's why it's like, I wanted to be pissed at this guy.
What if it's Bond's sister that ultimately kills the bad guy?
Now we're jumping into territory I'm not ready to talk about yet. I want to go back and say, I want it to be a dude and not a girl, and I want Bond to be pissed at him the whole time. I want Bond to have good reason to be pissed at the guy who saved his life. I want Bond to not understand, why the frick did you do this? You're a dumbass. You freaking saved my life when you could have saved everybody's. This would in a lot of ways be over. I'd be dead. Fine, whatever. You made the wrong choice. And so everyone's like, that guy saved you. Do you feel bad? No. That guy's an idiot. I'm glad he's dead.
Okay,
so Bond doesn't know exactly what the problem, or basically what the antidote is, right?
Well, because so we have to set this up in that that first interaction in the lab is like, well, here is the last of the, our first attempt at doing this thing. And
could be the briefing in his ears. This is the last antidote.
No. I'm like when they're going around the lab, right? And
right.
so
the partner knows what's going on. And Bond doesn't.
No. The partner and Bond are both on the same page. Where they're like, okay, so there's this disease, and here's this one and only antidote thing, and it's the last one. We've been trying it on all these things, and we haven't had a chance to make more, so we're gonna make more. And then they both get infected. And the guy's like, well, you then, here you go. And Bond's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I think every key player in the beginning has to know what's going on. They all have to know what the antidote is. They all have to know there's only one at this point in time that they have access to. They have to know the stakes, and the audience does too, so that, you can get to a position where that choice means something.
Okay, then in that case, I want Bond to give the antidote to his buddy as like, we're getting out of here, and you're carrying it out, and then the guy like whips it out when they get infected, and Bond's like, "What are you doing?
Right.
Don't do this." And he's like, "No, man, I gotta save you," And it's like, "Are you kidding?"
Okay.
Something like that. I don't know. The devil's always going to be in the details, especially with three different minds about how to write this. Don't you do it. Don't do it.
You brought it up this time.
It's a common phrase. unlike the Antichrist, a less common phrase.
MI6.
MI666 coming to a theater near you. It's awful.
Okay, okay. So I like where we are with the beginning. I think that's good.
Yeah,
I think
we've
that's
already-
fine. I think that we're good now with. I think we're good with M.
There's a sense. Okay, so if it's M, then basically Bond is screwed the entire movie, right? Like the whole thing, and that's the beauty of it. Is I think there's one 00 they're not sure about. And I think the revelation or the start of the revelation is Bond's got to track down this other 00, which is really hard, and finds out he's not dead and tries to like talk to him, and this 00 turns on Bond and is trying to kill Bond.
Who happens to be carrying an axe?
But no, I don't think it's. I think it's actually a good 00. I think it's just this 00 is like you've been turned. You've got to have been turned. There's the only reason that you still
And
be
it's
alive.
his sister.
Oh my god!
No, what? No,
Stop it! Antichrist, sister.
Okay,
You got
No,
better
I-
stuff in you.
Yeah,
I want.
I like having the two kind of rogue 00 agents now. Like they're both rogue now, and so therefore the other one who already has, they've already attempted to turn has like made it out, and so he now believes that Bond has turned. That's good. I like that.
So then their interaction, like he almost, Bond and him have to square off. I don't know how, I don't know how that fight turns out because you're talking about a 00 versus a 00, and they're both the good guys, right? But they both, Bond will have reason to fight him once the guy starts fighting him, and the other guy thinks that Bond's turned. So I don't know how you necessarily resolve that, but you got to have a way for them to resolve that where they both realize, okay, you and I are both
The man with the axe walks in.
the
Martha. Okay,
What's
sorry.
up, Martha?
I'm sorry. I couldn't.
He walks in and says, "Timber."
No. I was saying that the other 00 agent says Martha.
Oh
because
yeah,
it's so
I know,
stupid.
I
Okay,
know.
all right.
I'm saying the axe guy walks in and says, "Timber."
I mean that's great.
Quietly, timber.
You're going down.
No,
Yelling timber.
Timberland. All right.
So Kesha is doing the opening song.
What? Got bottled Jack. Oh my gosh, dude. It's way too fitting for Bond.
I know. See, that's what I'm saying. This is perfect.
I don't want it though. All right, we'll talk about that
Another
later.
time.
Yeah. All right. So our villain is M, and we've got to play it so that the audience believes there is an M. M is out of town. That N is in his place right now. Who's going to be our M for this series going forward? After we have to deal with, M will not be coming back as M.
Right.
He will either be at the Blowfield, who's somehow escaped and is still out there doing things, or he will be dead at the end of this movie and dealt with, right?
Right.
Like, or in prison or something.
Okay, but what I want, I want some kind of setup for this whole idea with an M and Bond interaction before the end. I don't want to do a flashback, but it might need to be a flash. Like, I don't know how to handle this, but I want some kind of hint of what's going on ahead of time. Because M is always making cracks about well, you're part of the old guard and you're just a misogynist playboy who doesn't care a bit about whatever. I want something like that sets this whole thing up, and then and now I'm gonna go take my herbal bath because
my salt's hot spring bath, baby, in my volcano lair.
yeah, no, but something. And then Bond's like, "Oh, I see you've got some tickets," and it's like, "Well, yeah, I'm finally get to go to the whatever
My
hot
vacation in the hot
Yeah.
springs, which happens to be right next to my secret lair.
Springs. No,
Guys, here's the thing about this M reveal, and I'm just going to tell you the way I thought of it. Now, it doesn't mean that's going to be the best way or the way we're going to go, but
I think that's how Bond connects it in the end. But he never actually figures out that in the beginning sequence that M is the bad
right?
guy.
Of course not.
right, I think that the way I wanted to play it for the audience was you are getting some insights, you get time with the villain. You see Goldfinger, you see these guys beforehand, and sometimes because Bond is infiltrating, and so you see it from his perspective. But I would rather do a little bit more of we're getting a little bit more information about who these people are without Bond being right there.
Some omniscient.
We're just
perspective.
audience perspective of you just get to see a little bit of what this guy's doing. You get to see a little bit of who he is. You get to see more of his mannerisms, the salt bath, the chef. He's planning things or telling Goose
Smoothie. Yeah.
those kinds of things instead of Bond finding that out. But when and Bond's getting closer, and we've never seen M. Well, we could maybe hear M, but we've never seen M, the M proper that we know about. We need to find a way to validate that M exists and he's a good guy without ever showing him. Because the way I'd love to do it is I'd love for Bond to walk in the room and it's M, and you know that guy's the villain. That guy's the bad guy. They're finally squaring off. And Bond looks at him and is like, M. Right? Like, I want that to be the reveal to the audience of this guy is that guy, not the we saw him earlier and now he turns around and it's like, oh, it's M. No, I want to be like, you just know this guy's the villain. You just know him as the villain the entire time. And Bond is the one who knows
identifies
who knows that's M. And now I see you and you're a punk face. Like I want that moment so the audience can be a little bit behind, but yet was always ahead. I want that moment for you.
I like that.
So you only know M as a villain. That's all you know him as. His reputation is one way, the history of the character is one way, but your experience of that character is going to be the villain side of him. And then you're going to have to deal with Bond and their interaction, and they're going to, let that play out with a different, different perspectives there. And
yeah, well, and I think that it'd be very important there, especially if, as Bond's closing in, I really want a Tarantino style conversation between the two. Where we're just ratcheting up the tension between Bond and M, because we know who it is now, but does Bond know, and how much is that working, right? And then I want some more reveals as we go. I want a Tarantino like Inglourious Bastards like opening sequence kind of thing where they're having the conversation.
Oh, dude. Do you do is this reveal maybe even in the classic M room? Because the big, Bond always goes to MI6, talks to Moneypenny, goes in through the door. There's the leather doors. Is it in that room?
Yes.
That everything goes down. That like holy crap, it's M. So we know it's the villain. And Bond figures that out, and then it's like, how the crap do you get out of here?
Yes.
When he wants to kill you, and if you want to ratchet the tension, Tarantino style, Moneypenny's on the hook.
Yes, exactly. I was just thinking that.
Moneypenny's the one that's going to get killed.
Yeah, I was just thinking we got to have Moneypenny like in this, and then what's good about that is that we get to push their relationship further than we've done. Like we have a lot of innuendo, we got a lot of tension stuff, but like this like the care is really good there.
Well, and Moneypenny's boss is M, and so is Bond's, but like Moneypenny's the secretary for M. Like Moneypenny works directly with M and should know M very intimately.
Yep.
So if Bond comes out, subtly or not subtly against M, Moneypenny has a loyalty decision to make.
Yep.
And she doesn't know all the facts. So what's she going to do?
Well, especially if M has probably already been like, so a Bond kind of going in the wrong direction now. And Moneypenny can totally be in the, wait, is this the time where like we put him behind the thing?
Wait, hold on. No, do we do like a earlier scene where Moneypenny, like when he comes back to the office for the first time in a while and to go see M, and it's not M, it's N, and Moneypenny's talking to him, and she just kind of because she's got loyalty to Bond too, but just so you know, you were on the rocks. Like he's talking about firing you, like for real. Like you're talking about being retired. Like it's a serious deal. You need to take this seriously.
Right.
And Bond does his typical quip and shrugs it off. And you do think of it as a true, like, because again, M has often been like, Bond, freaking get your crap together. Stop making problems for me. It's that captain, police, detective sort of relationship, right? So you can play that, but she's getting hints so that she'll be turned against him. But he's going to find out later that she was, so there's this whole other thing going on, and we're setting it up the whole entire way. And it's all the cliches of what we know the story to be. But by the time we reveal that M is the bad guy, it's all been flipped on its head, and everything has been going in the wrong direction for reasons.
Yeah, and I also like it because I was trying to figure out how in the world does M maintain distance and like safety from Bond, because Bond has license to kill, right? So like, how does M do that? Well, M has some kind of device, death thing with Moneypenny, so Bond can't just do his typical thing of I'm just going to kill you.
Well, and at the same time, I do wonder if there's another way to take it, which is, does M willing to die for the cause? Because if M just goes in the room and lets Bond kill him, what does that do to everything else? Like if the plan's already underway, Can Bond in any way get out of that situation? He can't in a public perception way. I mean, you're talking about the one person that should know Bond and be able to bring Bond in being against Bond, and thus if Bond kills that person, the entire organization has every reason to believe that Bond is evil.
Yeah, well, and what's good about that is M wins either way.
Right.
I like it.
So how does that get resolved?
I don't know yet. For all I'm saying is this is my throw towards villain stuff. That's my thinking of the overarching villain. We've got an idea of what he's after. I don't know what the ultimate, specifics of the plot at the moment are, of like what's the end game plan for M. Like we have a goal, a vision maybe, but not necessarily like what specific steps he intends to take to make that happen. Bond clearly is part of it on some level. I'm not entirely sure I want to do it. Just pitch of the like Bond kills M in the room and then has to get out of MI6, and I don't know if I really want to go there. I do like the idea of them having a confrontation in the room. I don't know how far I want to go, but either way, Bond's real struggle is he can't kill M for various reasons. It could be Moneypenny. It could be the fact that he could even be like, you want to let Moneypenny die? And Bond's like, I will, basically like taking the action of, I will let her die. You've got to be stopped. And it could just be sheer arrogance on Bond's part, being like, I will get her out. I will find a way to protect her or stop this, right? And M's like, fine. Well, then the answer for your problem is if you kill me, you still lose because everything's still underway and you've made yourself the most hunted man on the planet. But at the same time, if you don't kill me, so you got to make it just enough that Bond has a decision to make. There's no good win for him, and he's got to find a way to find a third option that postpones the confrontation to another time so they can finally duke it out in the way they need to later.
Right, and no fistfights for the love of everything. No fistfights at the end.
No fistfights between M and Bond?
Yeah, no.
I wasn't planning on going
Good.
there, but there's also an axe guy and a grenade guy.
That we can do.
There's going to be some fisticuffs, some axe-cuffs, and some grenade-cuffs.
Grenade-cuffs.
And the end.
Well, we don't know what the end is yet. We literally don't know what the end is.
But okay.
We don't know how the sister incorporates into all this. We don't
Yep.
know all the the parties, the intrigue, all the steps to kind of get to that point. We know that he's going to go after a 00, right? He's going to go after a 00. It's gone rogue. And he's not sure what's going on there because the doubles are being hunted. Some of them have been turned. He's going to deal with them. I don't know if it's the axe guy and grenade guy. It seems like it, but also, shouldn't they all wear suits and shoot guns? Like, isn't that the 00 thing as far as we know?
Well, we get there eventually.
So-
in the big ending confrontation.
Is axe guy and grenade guy just a couple of goons he's going to deal with midway?
Yep.
And then 00s are where he has to go against at the end. And he's been dealing with them somehow a little by little. Because everything that's going to come at the end, I don't want it showing up halfway. I want it revealed halfway or 2/3 of the way. We have to have stuff planned the entire time.
What I really like, and okay, we might have to scratch axe guy and grenade guy. We might have to kill
Oh,
them.
come on.
But
axe guy and grenade guy.
But what I
They're
what-
great. They
what
have
I-
names.
titles more like what I like about the fight between the 00 agent who didn't turn, who thinks that Bond had to have, is that we get to see Bond come this close, and it's only through some kind of they figure each other out that they don't like that Bond does not lose. Because I want to show the power of 00 agent against 00 agent and how it is practically like, no, you both die. That's the only way this ends. It's not that like one of you survives because of plot armor. It's like, no, you both die. That is how a 00 agent fight
An
goes
actual
down.
canceling out.
Right,
Yeah.
they actually just cancel each other out, because then when he walks in on M at the end, wherever it is, in the hot springs, whatever, it's like now there are 3 00 agents.
Also, the end game at this point sounds like if he can manage it, Moneypenny, 007, 00 whatever, a guy who he figures out is out there, and maybe his sister or some other one or two characters they happen to have some level. Felix Leiter, maybe like somebody he can pull in who might be on the good side of things, who can show up in time. So it's like maybe max like 4 or 5 characters versus likely 5. Well, I don't know. 5's a lot. Maybe like
3.
three 00s, M, and then what goons. Which again,
Yeah.
I like Axe Guy.
Okay,
Grenade Guy.
maybe he still has those goons.
I mean, you make the odds ridiculous. You
Yes, you
make
do.
it really hard for him to have any chance at all.
And
Absolutely.
then Bond just shoots them all dead like that.
barely an inconvenience.
barely an inconvenience. He's just a really good quick draw. I mean,
I
that'd
learned
be
about trick photography. I was crushed.
it'd be a really good. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to do that. It's got to be more fun than that.
No, it has to be way more fun than that.
And then you got Q involved. What's Q doing? And then
Right.
like, yeah, there's a different, Of course, if we do this as the first, I mean, I don't have to worry about this. I'm not like the franchise director, but like, if we do this as the first movie, you're not going to top it. So,
Well, and that's where I was thinking, oh, it's the second one of this Parabellum, because like now it's Bond versus the world. I don't know what you do, but yeah, no, I like this. So yeah, I feel like we have now solved
the villain.
the villain.
So
And
we know,
most of the plot.
we know where things have to get to.
Yes, we know where they have to get to.
Which is really helpful for us to get the steps, right? We know, yeah, okay. We know what some of this conflict and tension is going to be now. And so now the question is,
Who plays M?
yeah, that's a good question.
Things to consider.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Leave a comment below and tell
He's-
us who you think it should be.
The Mission Impossible Force, then he got transferred to MI6 and he became M.
No.
Because he's
No.
Let's see.
Let's
Who is it?
stop.
Who is it?
what?
We're done.
Michael Caine.
No. We're done.
Michael Caine. Bonjour and ass. He might be a little too old,
He might be
too
unfortunately.
old.
He
Yeah,
might be a
that's
little
true,
too old,
that's true.
unfortunately. He's got to be enough. I mean, right now it's Ray Fiennes, which I'm fine leaving him out because it's this franchise and like.
Yeah,
but
well,
like
and I really like Judi Dench,
Judi Dench is great.
and she's older, so like.
Well, yeah, but she's also not the villain who's going to
Yeah,
have to
I know,
go
I
toe to
know.
toe with Bond. Like,
But my point is that he's not toe to toe.
It can be. It can be
he's
older.
he's head to foot. He's,
I know what you're getting at. It's a mastermind versus Bond. I understand. There should also be some training and stuff there. So you guys gotta be a little, you gotta be in that sort of 40s, 50s, like 40s, 50s maybe, so that you're talking about like.
Isn't Idris Elba like in his 40s, 50s?
We're deciding that he's an old gun.
I know
man.
he's an old gun. So the guy.
It's got. I don't think it's a problem. We know M's gonna have to be older. We know that much, right? I just don't know if he's Michael Caine older. I don't
Okay,
know. I don't
is it-
know. I mean, Michael
is
Caine's a good, interesting choice.
Is it oh man, brain fog.
Yes, it is brain fog.
Clive Owen.
No.
00 agent.
I don't know, man. We're going to talk about this. I don't know if we're going to get there tonight.
We might not. We're kind
No,
of running out of time.
we're already done.
We've been done for a while now.
It was black screen. I didn't even know it.
We'll see if we ever come back to this at this point. But we hope you've enjoyed our expose on this next Bond movie that we're going to maybe never write. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you again next time. Say bye.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun,
Can you just say goodbye already?
dun, dun, dun. Bye. Best episode ever.
Ever. MI666.